Beautiful day, Patriots. How are you? Today is day 32 of the 88 step program, and it is April 1st. April Fool's Day, right? Well, we're going to talk about a few things that might sound like an April Fool's joke, but we're just going to be as serious as we possibly can at this particular moment. The reason why we do our notebooks is so that we can keep track of things throughout our life and our day, so that we can achieve goals, which basically the goal is trying to understand ourselves to see where we came from, where we are going. If we were made and created by God, then maybe we would want to talk to God. So we're using me as an example on this April 1st day. And it's amazing how there's steps in life. You think you know something and then you learn something new and it kind of changes the whole thing. And now you understand something on such a different level that you're over here where the steps that got you to that understanding are almost irrelevant. You know, what do I mean? Well, okay, so in kindergarten, preschool, first grade, third grade, sixth grade, we use crayons, Crayolas, for our art projects, for our finger painting type of things and stuff, right? Well, we don't use that as adult or for fine art. We advance and go through different color schemes to have a better... Now, I'm not saying that there aren't professionals that don't use Crayolas or anything like that, but what I'm saying is that there's just steps. A professional painter that uses oils on canvas doesn't want to go back and try to learn how to use Crayolas. This is kind of making sense. The Crayolas are for kids. And it's the same thing with our knowledge as we go through our different steps in life. I have been lucky and blessed throughout my whole life to always ask questions, and it never made sense from the very beginning, from just too young of an age to really fit into society, let's just say. One example of in 2011, 2012, somewhere right around this time, I was at a job and we were outside on a break, and I was just trying to explain and point out some of the most obvious things to some of my coworkers. At that particular time, the sun was doing some odd things. There was also great examples of chemtrails, or I don't know, just the airplanes that were leaving big, huge trails in the air that would then dissipate and then gray up the sky and change our weather. Now remember, I'm talking back in 2011, 12. And I'm just pointing it out to my coworkers. And it was just very bizarre to me because I'm the only one out of, let's say, half a dozen, a few more. And I'm pointing out the most obvious. Here's a plane going, and there's the trail, and there's, like, say, a dozen of them in the sky. And not one single person would sit there and be able to see what I was showing them. They could not even see it. And I started to cry in a way that, it wasn't that they're bawling my eyes out, like, ugh. But what was happening is it was hurting me in such a deep level and hurting my soul that I guess that it was I started to have a tear in my eye. If you can remember that old Indian commercial back in the 70s where the Indian's looking out over and sees the litter and the trash and then all the highway and the... So it's kind of something like that. And this guy started laughing and teasing. He's like, look at, he's even crying. Which made me just even more sad that's how lost that the people can be to not see what's obvious. So it was a weird era in time in my life. I was able to, that's a different, so we're talking about examples of why we take notes and why we try to log things and observe things within ourselves so that we can see the connections. Let's say Twitter was, they banned a lot of people on January 6th was the day they just purged a lot of people. I was one of those people on January 6th that was taken off of Twitter. And I was involved in, let's say, politics for a while, for I think 3 years on Twitter. Didn't start off as politics. And it didn't end in politics, but that's a whole nother subject again. What I'm talking about is that the 3 years that I was on Twitter, just prior to it, I was studying, learning things, trying to explain things. You hear me talk about pyramids a lot because that's another easy one, just to, why can't people see the obvious of we're not the smartest first time around this earth as a human species. But hopefully I'm not digressing or losing the point here. So during that 3 years on Twitter, I was, just prior to it, I was doing my studies. I found a subject that was very intriguing to me. I dove deep into it. It led into politics. And during this politics, I was able to do what others wouldn't do. I studied it in a way that was different. Found and saw the AI, the artificial intelligence that was involved in it. And was able to see things way earlier. I knew that people were going to be very sad. It was being led to a setup. And it was very sad. There was nothing I could say or do to show people and prepare them for what was getting ready to happen. I was an outcast almost the whole 3 years of it. And yet, ironically, I was the only one during that whole circle that was able to see differently than everyone else and tried to prepare them. And again, it's not me. I'm a vessel. As I was saying on Twitter, I am a vessel. Just as I'm saying now, I am a vessel. It's because I do these check marks and I see things. I'm going to try to always be around to help people, even if it's just one, to see that Jesus Christ is real, the Bible is real, Revelations is real, and that there's going to come a time and point where if you don't understand yourself, Jesus, and the Bible, and I'm not saying I understand the Bible or Jesus or even myself, but if you're not going to be able to help others try to find that instead of following government and lies, it's just going to be a very dangerous place for you and the people around you. We'll talk tomorrow on day 33. God bless you.